This is MONBASA MVITA Africa, and I'm going to talk about the hog farm in a place called Jeddah. That's what I read in my daughter's Good News Bible, but now on the internet I'm seeing it's Gedara, so I don't know what is what, but the first time I read it was Jeddah, but now I'm seeing it's Gedara. The madman of Jeddah gathering was filled with spirits, possessed by spirits. He could snap chains holding him and used to torture himself with stones. He was in a lot of suffering. When Jesus came from the sea to teach the gospel, the madman noticed him. The madman knew he was coming. Psychic power. I'm talking of what has been inhabiting many of us, and when it is within us, we cannot realize ourselves. This was a man full of ability, full of power, but the spirits within him, the demons, that's where now we start noticing demon power within him, had driven him to the graveyards. But something happened about him. When Jesus was coming, the demons noticed. They were able to read the situation, read the mind, because I was telling you that's the problem we have now. The devil is acting from an angle in that he can be able to read your mind. And that's why in many places, many people have been taught that you learn to recite the verses of the Bible, or if you are Muslim, the Quran or whatever. It is important. It's important to what you expose yourself to. Because if you don't, then there will be a takeover of your mind. And when they reached out of the psychic power, they knew the power of the Lord through Jesus had arrived. And they rushed to Jesus. When Jesus came, the man came and surrendered. But what was within the man was saying, "Why have you come before our time?" And what he did, he exorcised them. But the demons, because they live in living things, said that he could not, he should have mercy upon them. Their time has not yet come, because there is a time that has to come for them to come out. And they asked him for an alternative. And there were pigs, hogs, eating around. And they asked him, "Can you let us get into the hogs?" And they got into the hogs. They made the hogs wild, and the hogs all ran to the river, the water, they drowned. What am I talking about? I'm talking about our situation in Africa, our situation in the world. I happen to come from a town called Whirlwind, and whirlwind comes with what the Muslims say. We say ghosts come in the form of whirlwind sometimes, and also jinns come in the form of whirlwind. In the town of the Whirlwind, I was privileged to be schooled in a good school. It was called Menengai High School. We had the privileges because that school had teachers of all races and children of about two races, yeah. And we were privileged. I had an American teacher who taught me some biology in the first form. And he told us that bacteria and viruses are able to infect even canned tins. And when you find a canned tin swollen, do not buy it, because it shows that it has expired its time, and it's bacterial reaction that is causing that. When I thought of that, it reminded me of some book that we did because we were learning English literature. And a book was introduced to us, The Animal Farm, by Owens. And the animals decided to declare independence and freedom to themselves from a man, the owner of the farm. When they were planning, all animals thought alike. Freedom for all animals. And when freedom came, the animals had agreed. Anything that was done by human beings, they did not do it. Started from lying on the bed. So the hog or the pig took everything up to getting into the bed, covering with a blanket what they had come against. But what does this bring us to? It shows us of the systems that were put there in the world. The communist system and the capitalist system. When the capitalists thought of that system, they saw the communist. The animal farm was supposed to depict the communist system. And when the communist system looked at the capitalist countries, they realized that the capitalist countries were depicted by the animal farm. And as this went on, the countries decided that they wanted countries that would think alike. So what happened? The capitalist countries used power to enact whatever they wanted, power, persuasion, and sometimes even war, and overthrow of the governments. The communist governments also did the same. And to them it was okay. But what happened? There were some people, when other countries like Africa got independence, thought of a midway. So those people who thought of a midway did not have smooth sailing. What happened in the animal farm, like what happened to the animal boxer and others, was what happened to them. A man like Patrice Lumumba, with great ideas for Africa, he chose the midway. And what became of him? Look into the internet and find what happened to Patrice Lumumba before there was a change of power in Congo, and it was renamed Zaire. Another man also decided to take the midway. His name was Mwalimu, teacher, rabbi, if we had to put it, teacher Julius Kabarage Nyerere. And with the midway, he managed to do one thing. he managed to join two countries that were different. That was Tanganyika, Zanzibar and Pemba, which ended up in a state called Tanzania. An exemplary state which has got so many tribes, but they think as one, they talk as one, they act as one. That is what another man who took the Midway system did. And as things were going on, there were fracas in another country. And this country is called Uganda. And after a lot of fighting and a lot of struggles in Uganda, a president came to power. He was called Kaguta Museveni. By then, the Kabaka of Uganda had been overthrown by the system, and he was residing in Britain. He reinstituted the system of kingdoms, because now Uganda has got several kingdoms within it, running within the government system. He took a midway system, and it benefited the kingdom of Uganda. Then there's a man I will not forget, a man from Rwanda, where there was a lot of war. People slaughtered one another, people did a lot of damage to one another. But this man decided to take a different way, because that time he had been let down by the world. They chose a system where they would agree as one. They would use the traditional system, and it's one of the countries that is doing wonders in the world. Why am I teaching this? I'm teaching that we have a choice. We can choose to be capitalist, we can choose to be communist, but when you become capitalist, you will have to worship the capitalist system. When you become communist, you will have to worship the communist system. That means you cannot do better than those who have put the systems for you. You will always be an underdog in the whole system. So what do we suggest? Like Jesus did to the madman of Gadarene, he removed the demons. We should also exorcise our own demons as individuals in African countries. We should not side with any place. Let's put up our own systems. Let's put up our own ideas. Yes, let's take the midway system. And just like Jesus was able to destroy the demons and set them off to the pigs. When I talk of the pigs, I think of a country like Liberia, a country that, I'm not talking of Liberia being the pigs, no. I'm talking of their idea when they were coming from America, a country of liberation. They came as a country of liberation, and as I was talking, I had an American teacher by the name Doc, and fortunately, many of the things I encounter have similitudes within the continent of Africa. A president called Samuel Doe brought Liberia to its knees. God has reformed it. This is what comes when we get bloated, trying to follow any system, be it communist, be it capitalist. So what do I say? I'm saying that we have a choice. We can go the capitalist way to the extreme, become underdogs in that system, go the socialist system and become underdogs in the communist system, or we can take the midway, like some of the great African leaders showed us. We have Mandela also, I've not forgotten about him. South Africa is a country with the largest number of Africans of Dutch origin. But when he came in, they were able to work together. You can't know that there are many people Is it European origin? Dutch. Even the language spoken in South Africa, the national language, is Afrikaan, their own language. A language they formulated. It's not Dutch, it's not African, but it's a language that encompasses them, all the people there. The language is Afrikaan. So what am I saying? I'm saying that with determination, we believe in God. We can be able to put up a system, a kind of system as Africans, geared towards our countries and our own development. A country that will put us, a system that will put us in front in the national community. A system that will be beneficial to Africans. And with this, I'm speaking from the town of Bungoma. We talked of Mombasa being called Gongwa, so from Bungoma, Gongwa, MONBASA, MVITA, all of us are in this world to change Africa. And I would suggest that we come to the town of Bungoma. We pass here, we have a name that is almost similar to Jeddah. It's called Jedalik. Come and enjoy the inkoho, the rooster, the Kenyan chicken. Come to Jedalika. It is a symbol of this town, a cockerel, a rooster. That's my take for now.